So I'm sitting here. Um, this potentially is the last night in Florida. I have no idea. Um, there's a lot of things happening in the background that I kind of sort of alluded to in my previous video. I have 3 or 4 tentative possibilities to this trip, and yeah. So fundamentally, what's happening is I need to be at such and such place at a particular time so that everything else clicks into place. I'm gonna be at that place regardless at that time, but it's something that happens right before it. So, Hanukkah Trail is supposed to be happening um, as a first order of business in Utah. But I first have to get to Hanukkah Trail, and after Hanukkah Trail, I have to immediately go to Moab so that the rest of the trip could begin. There's multiple ways of getting there. Weather is atrocious. It is ridiculous. Texas, between 60 to 106 mile an hour winds, between 4 to 6 inch hail, and the whole weather thing split into two, and there's bands and all sorts of nastiness going on. So I am trying to navigate that whole process. Um, as time ticks by and the weather is doing what the weather is doing, um, I'm either going to be in the clear or it's going to be super rough somewhere between Texas and New Mexico. Surprise. Because that's exactly what it was last time. Rough between Texas and New Mexico. Um, the quickest way to get there is 525 miles a day. I physically can't get there taking the southern route, even if I could drive 525 miles a day. But in order for me to meet that target, it means that I'm gonna be forfeiting my vehicular safari thing on a Wednesday, preceding the Hanukkah hike. And there's other ways to get there. If you live on like the 8 day, then you park over there, and then you stop at all these spots. And theoretically speaking, if I leave after work on a Friday, I could be by I-10 well into the evening, probably closer to like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. It's going to be virtually impossible to find parking anywhere to park for the night. But if I could strategically position myself on I-10, I could theoretically still have the option of that ridiculous 525 mile. And there's things at work that anyways, as I'm sitting here, the only thing that I have not yet put into this motorhome is extra coffee, which I'm really hoping that it will arrive by delivery, hopefully before I leave, when the time comes. The other thing would be like just the basic toiletries kind of thing, but I already have them in a bag. Considering that I'm used to doing that, what I do is I hang them off my doorknob in the bathroom so that I then just take out the bag and so fuel. RV is fueled up. I've also packed fuel stabilizer and octane booster because I'm gonna be leaving the stuff in there. So I'm also going to be doing my best to keep everything as full as humanly possible. So in my Jeep right now, I have six water containers filled with water. I have 6 fuel cans filled with fuel, plus my Jeep is filled up. The motorhome is filled up. So theoretically speaking, as I'm driving out west, the only thing I'm really filling up is my motorhome. And then once I get to the Gooseneck State Park, there's no, and this is the reason why you need to plan all of this well in advance. There are no gas stations anywhere near Gooseneck State Park. The only other gas station is in Mexican Hat itself or in Bluff. Both of them are a 30 plus minute drive by vehicle, let alone a motorhome. So it's like the easiest thing you could do is arrive in Gooseneck State Park and fill the motorhome with as much fuel as you have in your fuel jugs. So in my case, that's like 30 gallons. So that should hopefully put me at like 3/4 of a tank, more or less. And hopefully, theoretically, that should get me to Moab, where in theory I'm gonna stop at Maverick gas station, dump my tanks, fill up with fresh water, fuel the motorhome. The next day, I'm supposed to be picking up my mom, who is flying in, and that's when the trip officially begins between this and that and that. Now, this is not just a vacation. I'm also working on the road, so there's also that. And I'm in the middle of so many projects. It's just insane. So, speaking of work, I just reactivated my Starlink for my motorhome. I have a Starlink Mini up here, and I was signed up for the 50 gig plan, which I've only used during the hurricane. And it was paused all this time, and so I've actually upgraded it to the unlimited plan. So at home I also have unlimited roaming plan. So you might be wondering, why didn't I just grab the big giant dish? Isn't really designed for being able to not even fuss with it. The way I've planted my Mini is it's sitting in such a way that it's basically just plug it in and that's it. So I will have internet, so that's good. I am like so tired, so exhausted, both physically and mentally. And as I'm about to, embark on this trip, it feels like a shallow victory. I didn't anticipate it, this being the second time, that it was going to be a more of a grueling match that just doesn't have a time limiter. I thought it was going to be slightly easier second time around, and I guess it wasn't. A lot of things that I've learned, with this. Um, but you know what? As I'm, about to go, looking forward in the future, I may actually do some changes. But I'm not gonna even think about that for time being. There's just too much happening. Theoretically speaking, if I'm leaving my motorhome there, I could very well upgrade my motorhome to something that is more palatable to my needs. So the reason why I don't have a Class A motorhome here in Florida is because I can't get it into my driveway. So if my RV is in storage and out there in the, open frontiers, I'm not limited by that anymore. So I may need to like just cogitate that a minute and see if that's actually something feasible. So as you know, Class A's are ginormous. They give about same fuel mileage, but they have like so much storage, and I would very much love to have like double the storage that I have right now. Um, or I could just very well keep this, you know. Um, Anyways, it's all filled up. Tires are all filled up. Had a hiccup there. Batteries melted in the air fill doohickey from Moorflate. So if you have one of those flex hose type for Jeeps, and you have batteries inside of it, take them out, basically. Um, I don't know. The weird thing is, like, I'm not even nervous at all. I'm just exhausted. There's been so many things happening, just physically and mentally and emotionally, all at the same time from different angles and all this stuff. And I think that's probably what's contributing to this, like, rut. But normally, as it goes, when you take off, all of that just fades. And you just kind of align yourself with that program and you just go. Just go. So if I could help it, I'm gonna do everything in my power to arrive to Gooseneck State Park on a Tuesday evening. That way I could, go and drive around um, Mexican Head area. If not, I'll just live with it. Ultimately, my thing is I need to get there safely, and I have weather that's, between myself and there, like significant weather event going on. I want to get there safely, and I cannot be taking any chances or risks or anything like that. So, ideally, I want to get there in the safest way possible, even if I have to, skip out on something. But it would be nice not to. Do I feel like I've packed everything I could have? And probably not. I have stuffed this thing with every possible thing that you could possibly um, and you always wish you had more. Which the great irony is, if you look right there, that storage bay is empty, and the one over there, it's almost empty. So I actually have about probably like 3 feet by 1 foot by a foot and a half of unoccupied space. I'm also sacrificing this sofa over here for covers for the motorhome and the Jeep. I simply don't have a place to put them. You know, you have all these things and you have all this place, but then you're like, okay, well, I can't be placing heavy things over there, for example. So this is, it looks like it's gonna live here for however many years. Um, yeah. Like I said, it feels like a shallow victory. But, you know, when the time comes, and I'm all go, 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 you know, I feel like my overall demeanor and everything else will fall in line. Until then, I need rest. Just constantly doing this, you know, juggling work and house chores and packing and planning and all this other stuff. It just takes a toll. So, this opens up such a significant new chapter in my life. Um, this will give me an opportunity to do so much. I do regret not having bought another Jeep. I had so much time to have bought another Jeep, but just it was up in the air about what I was gonna do and how I was gonna do it and what the variables were. And so as time was ticking and ticking and ticking, like theoretically, I could go and buy a Jeep tomorrow, but then it's gonna sit here for like, you know, all this time. And that's not something that I want sitting here all this time. Nevertheless, I feel like the very first night when I'm gonna get there and park, I am just going to shut off my entire body and just disconnect. I am going to be eating high calorie food. I'm going to be keeping my, you know, myself upbeat and all these other things. I hope to be resting well, eating well, unwinding. I also plan, like, at the places like where I stop, I'm gonna try and walk as much as I can. Those people that know me personally, I power walk and have been since like 2009 or so. 7 days a week, 2 miles a day. And I feel rather antsy when I'm not able to do that. So as I'm traveling across the country, you know, in the previous trip, I have actually just walked and walked and walked and walked and walked and walked and walked. I still intend to do that. Whew. So, um, I'm almost there. Almost there. Yep. Ooh, starting to get emotional. This is such a roller coaster of just mental gymnastics that's happening within. But that's okay. That's okay. Hopefully, I'm gonna get my coffee while I'm working tomorrow. That way, when I come home, it's already gonna be here. Um, so we'll see. All right, guys. Next time I'm gonna report from the road. I'm not gonna drag this out too long. So I'll see you then.